Hey, you. Yeah, you. Do you have what it takes to be the champion? The NES player with the power? Nintendo power? Do you want to be the next Nintendo World Champion with the Nintendo World Championships? How about the home game instead? Ah, the Nintendo World Championships. A legendary tournament where early Nintendo fans would compete to be the very best at the NES. A lot of us heard stories of the first Nintendo World Championships from the 80s and 90s, competing in a bunch of challenges in an attempt to climb their way to the top, including Jeff Hansen, who won a tournament at 11 years old. It was a huge event. Advertisements, commercials, people traveling from all over the world to play. There was even a movie to promote it. Anybody remember the Wizard?
He touched my breast!
And that's why we don't talk about the Wizard. While I didn't get to experience those tournaments in their original setting, I did get to see when they brought back the Nintendo World Championships at E3 in 2015. The world's best gamers gathered to prove themselves once again, playing various Wii U games in order to climb to the top and eventually achieve victory over their opponents. It was so much fun to watch, especially the finale between Cosmo and the eventual champion, John Numbers. They played a never-before-seen game called Super Mario Maker for the first time. I mean, look at this!
There we go! Oh, we're on to something here, baby!
John Numbers climbing to the top! Over the show! Oh, John Numbers!
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to happen!
There hasn't been a Nintendo World Championship since 2017. So instead, they decided to stage it directly in our homes with the Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. A new Switch game where you can compete to be the best and the fastest at select NES challenges. This feels like a spiritual successor to NES Remix, where they would take NES games and remix them to perform certain challenges. So yeah, it's NES Remix with Nintendo World Championships branding, which makes a lot of sense. But is the game worth trying out? Do you need to be a speedrunner or an NES veteran to enjoy it? Or can you compete having never dipped your toe into NES titles before? Do you have what it takes to be a champion? Do I? Let's find out. So let's start with the game itself. You can get it digitally on the Nintendo eShop for about $30. And considering a lot of first-party games are usually double that price, it's not bad. But if you want, you can also get the physical edition with a few extra goodies for $60. Not only is it really well packaged with some amazing box art, but it comes with the cartridge, 13 art cards representing each featured NES game, and some high-quality pins. Look at these, they're beautiful! And of course, a gold oh my god, it shines. A gold Nintendo World Championships cartridge. No, it doesn't work. Would you believe a lot of Switch owners don't own a 39-year-old Nintendo Entertainment System? There's not even any pins in it. It's a really cool bundle for those who like physical copies, with a bunch of cool goodies up for display and some nice retro touches. I love the pins especially. Now, am I gonna wear these pins? Absolutely not. I mean, they're collector's items. I can't wear them. They gotta stay on the shelf where they'll be forever.
Wear me, bald man. Wear me.
Wear me, Randa.
Put on the pins, Randa. Wear the pins, Randa. Wear the pins, Randa.
Wear
Wear them. Wear them. Wear them. Wear them. Maybe the pin will make you feel better. Wear the pin. Wear the pin. Wear that pin. You look like the pin.
I also decided to get the NES Switch controller of the game. You don't need it, as you could just play it with your Joy-Con or your Pro Controller, but come on, it's the NES. Let's game on! Between the late 80s and early 90s, NES championships were held all across the world. I think it was more like America, Japan, maybe Europe. But yeah, sure, that's world enough. The obstacle of visiting the venues in person may have made it difficult for many of you to see these events firsthand. And some of you faced an even greater obstacle. Not yet being born. I mean, they're not wrong. Very hard to play Super Mario Bros. 3 in the womb. Dang, Nintendo making me feel too young and too old at the same time. That's why we brought the championships to you. Now you can engage in the thrill of competition against players from around the world. Yeah, you know what? I like this. It's way cheaper than time travel. Creating our profile. The game knows our basic stuff already. Don't think about how. But we can choose things like a player icon. This is basically an 8-bit icon for our profile. I chose Mario's butt while he's climbing ladders in Donkey Kong. Ooh, a hype tag, huh? Something that complements my nickname. There's a lot of variety of decent NES game references here too. Wants a reset button for life. Oh dear. And finally, favorite NES game, where you pick... Well, take a guess. The library for this list is huge, literally the entire NES library. I can't choose because I've never really played an NES game, so I'm gonna automatically choose the best game ever. No one can deny it.
What were they thinking?
And then the game begins. You have speedrunner mode, world championships, survival mode, icons, and pins. Yeah, pins. Those look familiar, huh? Oh no. Let's do the only thing the game will let me do. Speedrun mode. This is the closest thing to a single player mode in the game, where you perform select challenges with NES games. You pick one of the 13 NES games available and must do certain in-game tasks as quickly as possible. You know, speedrunning! Complete challenges like grab the mushroom in 1-1, climb to the top of the level in Metroid, defeat the dragon in Legend of Zelda, or even beat full-on levels, all as fast as possible. You clear one challenge A rank or higher, and unlock the next one for a few coins. You get coins with every attempt you play, so it won't take long for you to unlock everything. Once you succeed, bang, there's your time. Try again to improve it. Rinse and repeat until you decide to do the next challenge. If you mess up, don't fret, because the game will rewind you back to where you started. But it does work as a penalty, because that whole rewind animation will cost you time. So do your best not to mess up at all, or it'll cost you precious seconds. So what exactly are these 13 NES games that we can play? They are the classics that everyone knows: Super Mario Bros., Legend of Zelda, Metroid. You can't go wrong with these choices. There are some sequels too: Mario Bros. 2, Doki Doki Panic, Mario Bros. 3, Zelda 2, Link's Awakening. Even Lost Levels makes an appearance. There are some hardcore classics, like Excite Bike, Balloon Fight, and the original Donkey Kong. You can't get more retro than Mario's first appearance in gaming, after all. A lot of the games still hold up today. The classics like Super Mario Bros., Zelda, and Kirby all play great. It really shows why these games are so well loved. NES games have a bit of momentum with how the characters move. It makes sense with Mario, he's a plumber in the sewers. He's gonna be slippery. But with other games, it can be a little weird. Some games are great, others are fine, and then there's Kid Icarus and Ice Climbers. Kid Icarus is a weird one. Very challenging from the get-go with all the enemies, but I don't know, there's sort of a charm here? Maybe it's the mythology theme, maybe it's the decent controls, or maybe it's how the challenge feels more rewarding the more you advance. I will say a lot of the tasks are just endurance-based. Can you make it to the end? Can you deal with these monsters? It can really kick your butt, but it feels great to beat them at their own game. Although I do wish Pit's arrow had a bit more range, but that's critiquing the game, not the NES World Championships. However, Kid Icarus is nothing compared to Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers sucks. Ice Climbers is the worst game in this by far. I never realized how stiff the controls would feel with just moving your character. Jumps feel awkward and nearly impossible to make. You pretty much jump straight up and that's it. No momentum, no curve. Why is it like this? Yeah, not all these games have aged well. Even the best NES titles are a bit janky. And while it may be annoying to deal with its shortcomings, a lot of times, those little issues can maybe help you get a better time. I've had it where glitches or random occurrences help cut off an extra second or two. And every second matters with the next mode, World Championships. This is where everything gets competitive. 5 challenges are selected each week with a variety of difficulty, and you perform that challenge to the best of your ability. The only difference is, your time is recorded and put up against thousands of other players and competing for the best time. It basically works the same way as speedrun mode, only your best time will be recorded and judged a week from that day. There are some differences, like the sound of an audience. They cheer when you succeed, or react poorly when you fail. It's cheesy, sure, but it's a cute little touch. It keeps me hyped up from start to finish, while I try increasing my score or going just a little faster than before. I have spent more time than I'd like to admit, but I don't know, I had to make the time better. Is this what being a speedrunner feels like? I gotta go fast! I gotta go fast! Speed running! Once we get our best time, our score is recorded and we wait for our results. It's kind of weird though we don't see a scoreboard or anything else, honestly. But we'll find out in a week, so until then, let's take a look at survival mode. How do they keep multiplying? Here you could do challenges, but against other people online. I don't know the exact science, but it takes ghost versions of other players, and you have to complete challenges against 7 other contenders, reaching the top 4, top 2, and the champion. It reminds me a lot of Mario 35, rest in peace. You can also compete in 2 different tournaments, the Silver Cup with the easier challenges, and the Gold Cup with the harder challenges. And yes, you get pins and rewards for beating each challenge. I suppose I can talk about pins and icons while I'm at it. Pins. You get a digital pin after getting an A rank or higher with each challenge, and they look great. I love the retro 8-bit designs of them all, and how they represent each conquered challenge. You can also purchase icons with game coins you earn. You'll get a lot of these during your speedrun attempts, trust me. Each icon is pulled straight from the NES games you've been playing to this point. These icons can be simple, like Kirby standing on an enemy, to complex and detailed, like King Dedede, Mother Brain, or even Palutena herself. I love the detail of these, and it's cool to see them when fighting people in survival mode, paired with people's favorite NES game. It's small, but I think it's neat. Well, that's pretty much the game. Now we just gotta wait a week until we find out how we did in the World Championships. And I can finally get out of these clothes. Ah yes, a full week has passed. Wow. As I said, 1 week after your scores are submitted, you get to see how well you did against the world. This is pretty standard stuff, but they added something I found a bit interesting. They'll also rank you against players born in the same year as you? I like this because it's always cool to see how well you did. But I get a sense of belonging seeing so many people my age competing as well. I get super hyped getting ready for the next challenge. But I kinda wish we didn't have to wait a week to see. Let us have a constant leaderboard. Show us who the top players are, or the benchmark we have to pass to make it to the top. Just like the old school NES and arcade days. I'm telling you, even if it only updated like once a day, it would encourage more people to keep trying their best. How it is alone still made me want to spend hours on challenges. And while we're at it, this does make me think of another flaw with this game. This game has 13 NES games. Out of like over 100? 13 is a good chunk, but you're missing so many NES classics. When you finish every challenge in speedrun mode, you're kind of finished and just left to wait a week for each challenge. Where's Ghost and Goblins? Where's Double Dragon? Where's Dr. Mario? And are you telling me you made a Nintendo World Championships without Punch-Out? Punch-Out! It would fit so perfectly with a game like this. This game better have some free DLC with more NES games soon. But yeah, that's essentially Nintendo World Championships NES Edition. And for a game about NES challenges, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. It's so fun and addicting to do these challenges and face people around the world in both World Championships mode and survival mode. It made me excited to play NES games. I get a chance to see and play games that came out long before I entered this world, and have a blast doing so. Not you, Ice Climbers, you still suck. There's a lot of love that went into the presentation of this project, and fans of the retro classics should be happy to relive this era of gaming, while new fans get a chance to play these gems in new and engaging ways. It makes me excited not just that this game is a thing, but also for the future. Sure, I mentioned we might get DLC, but this is NES Edition. But what about SNES or N64 Edition? Game Boy? GameCube? Basically setting up challenges for the more advanced games we grew up with. This could happen! As much as I'm looking forward to the future, what we got wasn't too bad. I wish they displayed the scores better, I wish we had more NES games to play, and I generally wish that the NES controls were a little bit more precise, but I really liked what we got. And for $30 for a digital copy, that's not bad either. Unleash your inner speedrunner, grab your Nintendo Power, and become the ultimate champion with Nintendo World Championships NES Edition.
Just put it on.
I gotta get him off, chat. I gotta get these pins off. I gotta get him off! Speed running!
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and check out my other videos as well. Special thanks to all the people who helped me out with this video. I couldn't have done it without all of you. Also, an extra special thanks to my Patreon patrons, including Mantle Ferox and Savacom. If you'd like to join the Patreon, the link is in the description below, along with my Twitch and Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a good night!